Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Gentlemen. Hey,
Gentlemen.
he's from Manchester now. The Puggles. Grab a buckle. Ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to twitch.tv/IceCream My name is Graham D. I'm joined by the man that we call...
Booby.
I don't even know. I shouted at Bibby. I don't even know if that would have come through the microphone then because of RTX. But he's the man that...
I didn't hear it.
the man that we call Bibby. There we go. That's like waiting. Shout it out. But good morning, if everyone's here. Good morning. Let's jump into things first. Very first off, my name is Graham. This is Bibby. We are Ice Cream Uploads. And in true Ice Cream fashion, this is The Scoop, your daily dose of news from the world of video games and beyond. We're bringing you the biggest, the best, and the breaking stories that are happening or have been happening in video games over this last weekend and up until today. So if you want to get involved, we're giving you our thoughts and impressions on those stories. We want your thoughts and impressions in response to our thoughts and impressions. There's a lot of news that's happened. There's a lot of conversations that have gone backwards and forwards. And what we're going to say is not necessarily the be-all and end-all. You might change our impressions, and the only way you can do that is to get involved in the conversation. It's important that you do because we turn this into a YouTube video and an audio podcast that goes on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, and Google Play. So everyone that gets to watch and listen on demand, they get to hear all the thoughts and opinions, but only if you get involved. That's how we make it better. So feel free to use the opportunity to say hello in the chat. Did that come through, or did it get RTX out? Yes. Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see what the threshold actually is. Like, unless we're on the mics to each other, it's hard to like say, "Can you hear my voice now? Can you hear my voice now?" Shouting down the microphone, like, see what the threshold actually is.
As long as you build it up, if you start off low and then go higher and higher and higher, then it's fine. But if you just start just go from 10 seconds of silence to full on yodel, RTX is like, nah, mate. Which is what happened on me and Jordan getting absolutely mugged out of chicken dinners yesterday by my PS4 over here. You can see when I just kind of like lean back in my chair and go, or whatever. But the RTX was just like, there was silence and then there was noise. This can't be his voice. So I'm just there going. But anyway, speaking of Enix, good morning. Yo, and good morning, Gravity, who was there. What, his laugh?
Yeah, you heard his laugh. Like, even though you was at it, your fucking heart was broken like Ralph Wiggum on The Simpsons. Yeah, you could just like freeze frame to every second that you could see your heart break. All you heard is any of that going, there's screaming in the background.
Like, oh my God, there's a dolphin with a machine gun. What the hell?
Well, it was like I was playing in the 10v10 and I had you. Like, because Pirate was like, "Why can he hear Graham?" I was like, "Oh, I'm just watching him play PUBG while we're playing the 10v10." He's like, "All right, sound." And I went, "Oh no." He went, "What?" I went, "Graham's PlayStation just overheated, but there's 3 left." He went, "Are you fucking kidding me?" I went, "No, I'm just watching his heart break live on stream." And I think Precision came in, Alexander, and all the other lads who was in 10v10 to see the heartbreak that had just happened in your stream.
It was fucking horrible. It was like that.
I was like, "Oh no."
2v2, going for the 3-peat. Last 2 squads. Got an advance. I've already lit one of them up. I've been lit up myself, so it's not in the bag, but we could see another clutch. And then that happens.
Oh, it was devastating. I was devastated for you, and I was trying to concentrate playing left back. You know what I mean?
Gutted. If anyone wants to see that, check out the end of the broadcast from last night's stream. It's still out of VODs, the whole thing. Like, we basically won a game on PUBG, the small map, Karakin. Then we went to Miramar, the big map, the big desert map. Won that one too. Then we went back to Karakin. We were only going to do one game, but we won. So we did another one, and we won that one. It's like, well, we've got to do another one now. Like an hour longer than we were planning to be on. Grinding towards this 3-peat, 3 wins back to back to back. And then my PS4 blue screened. Sorry, your PlayStation's too warm. It's turn off. It's like...
Yeah, I've never seen that message before, but I would be absolutely fucking livid if that happened, especially on a PlayStation 4 Pro like you've got. I don't know how powerful PUBG is on the console, but for me, that has never happened to me on any game on my PlayStation ever. It's either your room must be like a fucking sauna, or the heating pads have just gone on that PlayStation 4 Pro already. I have never seen that happen.
It's happened before. I think it's just the PlayStation 4 needs to be reseated. It needs like full on heat sinking. So it has happened once before. I've had a few warning messages pop up going, it's getting too warm. But I've had it turn off twice now in like the 12 months that I've had it. It's maybe a year old, maybe just over. It's probably a year and a week or something like that. This. So yeah, nice. But apart from that, what did you get up to this weekend, babe?
Do you know what? I played very little games this weekend. Very, very little. I think last night was the first night that I actually turned my PlayStation on, and that was to play 10v10, and then went on to play Pro Clubs with some of the other PES lads. I know that's kind of contradicts itself because we went from playing PES to FIFA, but Pro Clubs, the greatest video game mode in football game history. So I played a few games of that. Went to play Call of Duty World War II, but it was the first time that I was booting it up. So I needed to do all my sensitivities, all my buttons, and all that shit. And I couldn't be asked. So I didn't bother. However, I have now got a component cable for my PlayStation 2 because I was using like a HDMI resolution booster. So I didn't have to use like an AV cable. And my God, I have never seen a PlayStation 2 games look so crisp. I'm super excited to go back and play them later on. So I'm just gonna put all the old Pro Evos in and see how they look now because look, the edges look. These consoles was made when like normal standard definition TVs was there, so that the CRT scans and the scan lines and all that stuff on the screen made it look a lot better than it was. However, when you blow it up on a normal HD TV now, it just looks shit. Like all the polygons, you can see all the blurring on the players. It just looks horrible.
It's like
This
watching a game of
HDMI
Pong.
cable, mate, honest to God, like when you're playing on your PlayStation 2 on like a big TV and it like the resolution gets boosted, it's just blurry. Like when the players run, you can see the blur off the back of them. So it looks like they're in an anime and you can see the lines off the back of them just as they're sprinting forward. It looks so shit. However, with this HDMI, with this component cable, mate, it looks so good. Like the best it will probably look without having what do they call them? It's like one of the
Cheese.
most expensive.
Big fish, little fish cardboard box. Big fish, little fish.
Oh, what's it called? It's like an upscaler, but it's like the most expensive upscaler that there is. And I can't remember what it's called, but it's like 300 quid. Framemeister, that's the one. It's like you can basically put any old console through it and it'll bring it through and look the best it will ever look, but it's like 300 quid. And I ain't dropping 300 sheets on a Framemeister. But the component cable looks great. I don't know why I didn't buy one sooner.
I remember I was at uni. My dad had a pub and got rid of the projector that was in the pub. So I took the projector. I remember me and my mate Carl hooking up a SNES to this projector. In our minds, it was like, oh yeah, Mario Kart, massive. And in reality, it was like, oh my god, Pixel Kart. This didn't work. Anyway, let's jump into the news because we have quite a bit to jump through. And this one is a very interesting story. You'll have seen it on Twitter already because we posted obviously what the headline story was going to be. And this one, I was on a pub quiz on Skype or Zoom or whatever. We did it Zoom this week with friends on Friday, and then one of them mentioned, "Have you seen the Doctor Disrespect news?" I was like, "What?" But anyway, for those of you that haven't seen it, I'm assuming you have because it's been everywhere with all kinds of guessing over the weekend. And we spoke about it a little bit yesterday in the PUBG stream yesterday. But Dr. Disrespect has been banned by Twitch, and this time it's reportedly permanent. This is an article written by Stephany Nunneley for VG247. Let's go down to the original story, and then we'll go back to the update afterwards. So the original story is a ban was handed to Twitch streamer Dr. Disrespect, real name Guy Beam, on Friday, June 26. When Polygon reached out with a comment, Twitch wouldn't specify the reason for kicking Dr. Disrespect off the platform, but told the site it takes appropriate action when evidence of community guidelines or terms of service violation. When it has evidence of community guidelines or terms of service violations, these apply to all streamers regardless of status or prominence in the community, said a Twitch spokesperson in the chat.
You should see what it looks like on mine. It looks like a smashed lasagna.
According to esports reporter Rod Breslau, the ban is a permanent one and wasn't part of the wave of bans related to DMCA takedowns. Thanks, you again. He goes on to state, all of Dr. Disrespect's Twitch subs have been refunded and the Discord partnership has been removed. Breslau also states credible sources have confided the reason for the ban, but due to the importance and sensitivity around the subject, Breslau doesn't feel comfortable divulging what he was told. Dr. Disrespect, one of the biggest streamers on Twitch, was previously banned in June 2019 after streaming live from a men's room during E3 2019, being left and entered a couple of different bathrooms and never stopped streaming. The ban only lasted a couple of weeks. Wasn't it a month, that one?
I think it was like 3 weeks, wasn't it?
I'm not 100% sure. Either way, I know he took, maybe it was a month, but he just took a little bit extra time to go on holiday and go swimming in the Bahamas or wherever he was saying. So now back to the update. The former streamer issued a carefully worded statement on Sunday saying that he wasn't notified on the specific reason behind Twitch's decision. So this is the tweet. Champions Club. Twitch. Oh, actually, Champions Club. No, I'm not going to do it. Twitch has not notified me on the specific reason behind their decision. Firm handshakes to all the supporting during this difficult time. Signed, Dr. Disrespect. According to Rod Breslau, this is not the first time a major streamer had been banned without Twitch offering specific reasons. Breslau cited other bans where Twitch simply stated that the streamer's actions violated its terms of service. Interesting. Interesting. Let me just put all the... There we go. So everyone in the chat, feel free to get involved. What are your thoughts and impressions? But Bib, what are your thoughts and opinions?
I only saw yesterday for the first time his last like 2 minutes of the stream, and that for me was more worrying than anything. It was weird because for some reason I don't know why it felt like the jig was up. Do you know what I mean? Like it was. Have you seen the last like 2 minutes of his stream before he went
Yeah.
offline?
I was talking with Jordan last night, and the way that Jordan had kind of written it in the chat was almost saying the same thing. Like, but not like not almost like the way use the words like there. Jordan kind of said it as if like that's the face of a man that knows his stream's going to end or something like that, and it's like it's not. That's one assumption that could be made that that's what his face. But then I mean, yeah. For context, for those of you who don't know, the doc finished the stream on Thursday. There's been some bits that have clipped together and out of context could be used to suggest that he knew that his stream was ending because he kind of at one point pulls his phone out of his pocket, looks at his phone, and his attitude apparently changes. I didn't see the full stream, so I didn't see whether his attitude actually changed or not. And then at the end of his stream, he kind of has some weird sign off saying like something like Champions Club, it's going to be a difficult time ahead, but whatever, we'll get through this. And then just goes fuck, and then like in a Doctor Disrespecty fashion, and then hits his Prime subscription advert at the end of it and signs off like he usually does. But yeah, obviously reading in that, using that to make a conclusion. Obviously, the narrative is that he had a message halfway through the stream which basically said, "You're done. Your channel's going offline." And there was also some comments where he made about he wanted to go offline, but now he doesn't want to go offline. And obviously, one of the conclusions there is that is he actually wanting to go offline, but not wanting to go offline? Is that because he knows if he goes offline, he's never coming back online again, and he doesn't want to say goodbye to everything he's worked for? Or is it just a case of he's had a change in mind? I mean, that's the thing. I mean, it could mean something. It could just be something that's taken out of context and put together to suit an ongoing narrative. But yeah, I kept saying yesterday when I was talking to Jordan, it's bizarre, and it's so bizarre. This is Doctor Disrespect.
I do see a lot of people saying that it could be a stunt, but I tell you what, if it is a stunt, then I don't think this is the right time. I think it's just another bad timing for him. But I think
Good
with
morning,
the
Connie. Who says it's a stunt? Or could be a stunt.
yeah, I was speaking to Connor and he said it could potentially be a stunt, but how big would of a stunt it had to have been for a lot of his sponsors to take him off of their website? Like, what does everybody know that we don't at this point? And that's what makes me think that it could potentially be something a lot more serious than what we already know or what we've come to expect from him. Because if they didn't get taken off of other sponsors' websites and uh, certain individuals in the community coming forward and saying who have a long history of being right when it comes down to esports or have opinions that turn out to be correct down the line at some point or another. Um, I would probably say it would be a stunt. He's just taking a break. Do you know what I mean? He's going away for a couple of weeks. He's going on holiday or blah blah blah, and then he's going to come back and have the biggest viewing audience that he has done every single time he's been banned and he's come back. He's broke records. He's had the most amount of subscribers, donations, concurrent viewers on Twitch. I thought that could potentially be the way again, but I think when sponsors and statements are being released from the likes of Twitch, it doesn't paint him in a good light, and I hope it's nothing that would make me tarnish my love and affection for the Doctor Disrespect character, because for me, he is still the best name on Twitch. He's the best content creator, he's pushed boundaries, and I absolutely adore watching him. However, I will not hold back in my uh, my respect for him. I will berate him the same way that I have done everybody else over the last few weeks if it becomes part of that problem as well.
Yeah.
Who knows? But I mean, I won't hold back, and I will move myself away from that kind of person because I don't respect people like that. It's as simple as that. I will not condone it. I will not respect it. I will not be in his corner for anything. But
So you're
at the,
ready to disrespect the disrespect
I am.
if he needs disrespecting.
Absolutely. I
I
mean,
respect that.
that should be for everyone. I you mentioned something to me before this, and I imagine this is what you was going to go on to. But you, like you said, you would take away from the character his art, and
Yeah.
then the person that portrays him. And
The-
I would be in the same camp as you. Like, why would you want to go into bat for someone who may have potentially done something so horrific that you can't condone that or want to get behind him anymore? This is all purely speculation at this point. Nobody knows anything. For all we know, he could be, I don't know, a fucking trophy hunter. Do you know what I mean? Rather than a predator. And they just that goes against their teas. I don't know. All this at the moment is purely speculation because nobody knows anything. The only thing that's been said about it so far is what he's come out with
and
yesterday.
and Mrs. Assassin, who was the same sort of thing. She basically the only message she didn't acknowledge it. She just had on her Instagram story something like "Thank you for the support. It means a lot during this difficult time." And then the doc changed that slightly to say they don't know what the reason is. Thanks for the support during
Yeah,
this difficult time, and that was it. One thing I do want to mention though, seeing as Asim's clearly rattled by this. First of all, again, horrified he's not an actual medical professional. But I feel like I've been duped. Secondly, there's a lot of hate for this man on the Twitters, like actual anger. Thirdly, what's up? I kid on the last part. Man's personal life is his own thing as long as he hasn't been anything illegal. 100%. I mean, the fact that he's so the personal life bit. I'd seen a bit of that on the weekend as well. For those that don't know, the doc came out as cheating on his wife on his own channel, took a month hiatus and came back, worked on his family life. And a lot of people hate him for it, like a nasty, nasty, malicious people.
hmm
They don't know who he cheated on her with. They don't know for how long. They don't know the circumstances. It's not relevant to you. Get out
no,
of that. He's a content creator.
yeah.
But
It's usually the same people who'll be friends with someone whose missus is with an absolute bastard and he's been shagging around for months and months. However, they get back together again and they're all best mates again. But because it's a streamer that will probably earn more than them and be loved more than they will ever be, it turns into their problem. Like it's their problem. Do you know what I mean? It's
and the
like
thing
fuck
is, if
all to do with you,
if
though.
it was so horrible that these random people on the internet can't get past his personal life problems, I'm assuming his wife wouldn't want to go through the issue of living with him either. But she's fine there sticking up for him. So if she thinks it's okay, then get your head out of their relationship. That's
Yeah.
irrelevant. But so I've seen a lot of people. I mean, if they don't like him, 100%, he's absolutely Marmite content.
Absolutely, yeah.
But I mean, it was Nico actually. I was speaking to Nico, and I gave a good example to Nico. Who he said that he doesn't like his content whatsoever. He embodied toxic behaviors from gamers, and I was saying that's not the point of his content. His point is it's that 80s bravado, masculine stuff that you'd get from Arnold Schwarzenegger in Commando from the 80s and Jean-Claude Van Damme and whatever. That sort of stuff. Steven Seagal was in his Twitch Prime video. That sort of stuff rolled into a WWE sort of narrative. And Stone Cold Steve Austin was a dick. He was rude. He was brash. He was
Yeah.
aggressive. He throw fucking drinks over women or whatever, and he'd literally
He's a
pour beer.
working class hero.
Yeah, exactly. And it was almost like anti-hero sort of stuff. Like Deadpool. He doesn't do
Mm.
good, but he's against bad sort of thing. And that's kind of
He
like
doesn't
what.
want to work for the man. He
Yeah,
wants
yeah.
to carve his own path, kind of thing. And like I say, I think the Stone Cold comparison is perfect. Like it's the working class hero. You hate your boss. I hate my boss. Uh, they put you in a
Fuck you.
box. You want to get out. They want you want to get out of your box. You want to break through. You want to be the hero that the working class need. And that for me. That's what it comes across with the doc. I mean, again, it sounds like I'm going into bat for him, and at the moment, with all things considered, I probably will be because I can take Guy Beam away from Doctor Disrespect. I will back Doctor Disrespect because of the character. Guy Beam is nothing like Doctor Disrespect. Like Guy Beam, he can be if it comes out that he's done something horrific, then fine, they could both get in the bin. Do you know what I mean? Um,
But at
but
this point in time, there is nothing to suggest that.
exactly,
And that
exactly. I don't know.
uh,
You don't want to be going down a witch hunt for absolutely no reason because
and
no one's come forward. It's not as if it's like what's going through in social media at the moment, where people are putting tweet longers with their story and their experiences. Some of them absolutely fucking horrific. And again, you can't condone any of that shit. But nobody's come forward with anything. It's all extremely hush hush. So
yeah.
for all we know, it could be a contract dispute. That's it.
Like the well, a couple of points. The first one is Asim's comment there. Where is it? I've lost it again. It's like the people who worship Conor McGregor and then hate on Doctor Disrespect. Former, it's actually real / worse, but it's excused as it's him playing up. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Tyson Fury as well. Tyson
the
Fury a
the
couple of
Rock,
years ago. Yeah, yeah,
the most likable man in film, the guy that is the most bankable man in film. If you have the Rock in your film, you are almost guaranteed a successful film because it's the Rock. Because he's so nice and so liked and so respected. Look at all the gifts that people giffer with no to gifts that people share on social media now of the Rock. Most of them are from him being a dickhead in WWE,
mm,
not from him being the good guy at the end that
yeah,
fought for people. When he was in the Nation of Domination, he was a twat. But it's the
yeah,
whole point of building the character, and like you can tell when people haven't watched Doctor Disrespect's content in that sort of sense because they'll see him getting angry, they'll see him raging, they'll see him being over the top, and it's not even like it's him doing that from a place of competitive nature and having to be the best and winning people. That's his mantra. I've got to be the best.
yeah,
But it's just the act, and then you'll see Baby Disrespect, his kid, comes walking in, and you see he just melts. Is this like
mm,
his big puppy dog character, and the way that he like I remember Christmas, me and Danielle wrapping Polly's presents at Christmas, and we had Twitch on in the background on the TV, Doctor Disrespect on. It was just not this Christmas, the last Christmas, and he was playing Fortnite with randomers for Christmas, just jumping into duos and playing with anyone. And he got on a game with this kid who wasn't very good, and he kept like this kid was like, "I'm not very good. I'll try though." And you see it just his whole personality just changed. He was this like encouraging sort of supportive guy. After he finished the game, they didn't win. Everyone was like, "Go play with him again." He's like, "Oh, go on then." So he's jumped back in and he has a few games with this kid and like probably made this kid's night. And it's like if he was such a dick, he wouldn't be doing stuff like
mm.
that in that sort of
Didn't you
sense.
end up getting him like a new keyboard, mouse, and a
Yeah,
new
the full
monitor
set.
and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And don't get me wrong, there's elements of PR-ness about that. I get that, but if it was all about good PR from the start, then he wouldn't have a brash character like Doctor Disrespect in that sort of sense. So anyway, but the bit of not knowing where it came from, the narrative, as I was sat in this room having a quiz on Friday night, the first signs were his channel has gone because it's a DMCA takedown, Digital Millennium Copyright Act. He's played some music and shit on his stream. His channel's gone down. Everyone should be worried if Doc can go from the DMCA. And you're like, fuck. If that's it, then I mean, you've got to hope that Twitch can do something to sort that out because he is their flagship kind of brand. And then that quickly changed. And this is none of this. There's no evidence whatsoever for any of these claims. So first of all,
mm,
he'd had his channel taken down by DMCA. It then took a sinister change to say that with everything that's going on with the Me Too movement and Twitch finally cracking down on channels that have been malicious either on or off stream, Twitch have started getting rid of channels. So he's been taken down because he's a nasty, horrible person behind the scenes. And you're thinking, okay, well, this is escalating really quick. And then it took a completely different turn to a non-malicious sort of, well, not in terms of a societal malicious, but a contractual malicious angle. He now apparently has the article that I saw was that Google and Spotify have teamed up to create a streaming service, and they've basically they want to use Shroud, Doc, and Ninja. Shroud and Ninja are both obviously free from Mixer. Those three as the three headline talent to kick off a new streaming platform. And the Doc has just signed a long-term contract with Twitch, so that goes against his contract. So that is the reason for him being banned. And then there's all sorts of extra bits coming off that saying that the Doc has been tapping up other content creators, trying to get other people from Twitch to move to whatever this Google / Spotify owned platform is. Which, I mean, I was saying on stream yesterday, that's bullshit, in my opinion, because Google doesn't own Spotify. That was an April Fool's thing that went around earlier on in the year. And Google has YouTube, which is a streaming platform that has just signed Courage and I can't remember. There has been more people signed to YouTube. Anyway. Yeah, isn't she still on Twitch?
I can't remember.
It was I know
Valkyrie?
Valkyrie. That's it. That's the one. Valkyrie, and probably more, but those are the two most prominent from 100 Thieves. So why would they sign those and then immediately undermine their streaming platform by starting another with Spotify, a company that they don't own? And then there was this image that you shared it with me on WhatsApp last night, but I think Keem shared it either yesterday or Saturday. Keemstar, and so naturally it picked up a lot of snowballing there, and everyone was kind of like, "Oh, loads of people sharing this. It could be a thing." But within it, it was like the reason nobody's saying anything is because of an NDA, and it's like, that's not how an NDA works. If a company signs someone to do something for them and they want to keep it secret, they'll say, "Here's an NDA. Sign this. This is because we want to keep it secret. We don't want it to come out." And you are contractor to us. If you speak about it, we can sue you. That's what an NDA does. So if the Doc had signed with Google, they could NDA the Doc to not speak about it. That doesn't mean that Twitch aren't going to say he's broke his contract. He's trying to take streamers or whatever. Twitch are well within their rights to talk about it, as is anyone else that finds that information. But this thing was saying, oh, there's an NDA in place, so nobody's going to speak about it. That's not how an NDA works. An NDA, just because an NDA exists doesn't mean that nobody anyway could speak about it. I've not signed it. Doesn't mean I can't talk about it. So that just sounded like absolute bullshit to me. So anyway, the progression went from DMCA takedown to potential sexual allegations through to potential contractual and legislation allegations in terms of undermining Twitch. We still don't know what is. It could be any of those. It could be all of those. It could be none of those. Nobody has any idea, which is where we're coming from in terms of at this point in time, being fans of the work that Dr. Disrespect has done in the past. We are fans of the art 100%. At this point in time, we've got no reason to not be fans of the artist. If that changes, fair enough. But at this point in time, benefit of the doubt, I suppose. It's not even benefit of the doubt because you can't be oh, well, do you know what? My opinion of him's changed because of what? What? There is nothing. There's no allegations. What? Which is what makes it absolutely bizarre. But anyway, let's go on a slight tangent into something that I was talking about on social media this morning. Into this. So we're talking about streaming platforms. Potentially, there's a Google platform that's partnered with Spotify or a Spotify platform that's owned by Google or whatever the rumors are. This popped up over the weekend, which is at Watch Brime on Twitter. So let me jump back through the chat. When Aston said he's not an actual medical professional, Shogun says, "Oh, morning show, by the way." It says, "Wait, he's not." I know, right? First Dre, now this. Surely Dre should be a doctor by now. He's got to have some sort of doctorate.
That's what I was pissing myself at before because it's okay. Most people have forgot about Dre. And that just fucking tickled me big time.
Connie says people think it's a legal thing since people can't speak up. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking as well. But the fact that Dr. Disrespect has come out and said that he doesn't know why, that's the bit that kind of confuses me. I'll come back to this brand thing in a second. That kind of confuses me in terms of if the doc has been told it's a legal thing, then you wouldn't have expected him to say, I don't know what it is. I literally have not been told. And if it is a legal thing, then why have Twitch been approached before Dr. Disrespect has been approached if he doesn't know, like he says he does? So that's the thing. I'm not sure. That's why I find it all bizarre, because he doesn't know, yet other people do. And the worst thing, speaking about other people do, the reason we didn't stream on Wednesday was because of Twitch blackout. Twitch needs to be a bit more transparent in terms of the way it deals with situations, be it situations of harassing, race, or anything. Twitch needs to be transparent and have a code of conduct that it follows universally without treating people different based on their channel size or whatever, as they mentioned. But in the statement that they gave for banning Dr. Disrespect, it doesn't matter the size or influence in the community. Everyone should adhere to these. Everyone's like, that's what we've been calling for the Twitch blackout stuff. But why did people like in the article, Slasher or Rod Breslau, is it Rod? Whatever. He said that he knows why Dr. Disrespect has been banned, but he doesn't want to share the information. There was another person on Friday night that also said the same thing, that Dr. Disrespect has been banned, and it's serious. He's not only banned on Twitch, but everywhere. But I'm not going to mention why, because it's not my place to say. And I'm thinking, this isn't good for Twitch in terms of, why do people that aren't involved with Twitch know why he has been banned? That's because my only assumption is that somebody that works at Twitch knows these people and is friends with these people, and has told these people off the record, just between me and you, and they've then gone and spoke about it. Whether they've gone and spoken about it, that's not the issue. The fact that they've been told in the first place is wrong, and that's the whole problem with the reason the Twitch blackout stuff is happening is because some people are getting banned for some stuff that's horrendous. Some people are doing even worse stuff, but not getting banned. And there's no consistency. And the fact that people know stuff or are claiming to know stuff that they shouldn't be knowing before other people are knowing, that just kind of adds to the whole situation. Why are people being told about personal situations for streamers of media value like Dr. Disrespect? Even still, his personal stuff is being shared with people behind the scenes. Why do people know that yet? That's the bit that frustrates me. Twitch profits off streamers, so they don't want to remove their golden goose. So to remove him, something is up. I mean, that's the thing, though. I mean, that's kind of like saying no smoke without fire, which is, it almost sounds like a charged comment. It's almost like, well, something must have happened, but something might be a misunderstanding, and something could have happened. But how serious? Is it a contractual thing, or is it a societal thing, or is it just absolute downright disgusting thing, or what? So yeah. Good morning says rebranding as Lord Respect, Professor Respect. He's above a doctor now. Casey Love, good morning, says it's all to do with the social media cancel culture. People with no idea what's going on just jumping on the hate bandwagon. I mean, I think it's easy to hate Dr. Disrespect as well. Like I said, it's either love or hate, and he has an outward projection that is easy to hate. His image, his over the top, like he wears a bulletproof vest to sit and play video games on stream. People will hate that anyways. Plus, he's loud, he's brash, and disrespectful. His name says he's disrespectful. So yeah, I think it's easy to hate on someone like him in particular. Shaw says, you might have missed my earlier comment, but I heard it's because he was sharing harmful, disproved COVID-19 information like this. Ooh, let's have a look. Do you know? Let's read through it on stream. Just a quick look. So, in a recent stream, popular Twitch streamer Dr. Disrespect makes some controversial statements about the coronavirus pandemic. This is at the start of May. Popular Twitch streamer Dr. Disrespect found himself at the centre of yet another controversy. In a recent Twitch stream, which appears to have been deleted, Dr. Disrespect made some controversial statements about the ongoing coronavirus pandemic. Excuse me again. Dr. Disrespect began his comments about the coronavirus by acknowledging the Elon Musk situation, wherein the billionaire started calling for America to open back up despite the ongoing threat of the virus. Musk's comments on Twitter earned him a great deal of criticism, which seemingly led to a Twitter meltdown where the billionaire said he was going to sell all of his possessions and declared that the stock price for the Tesla was too high, causing the stock price to drop. Dr. Disrespect indicated that he agreed with Musk that the world should open back up despite the coronavirus threat. I don't need Elon to convince me, he said in the stream. Dr. Disrespect then read an opinion piece written by Dr. Scott Atlas and published by The Hill that calls for an end to the panic and to open most workplaces and small businesses. As pointed out by Kotaku, Dr. Atlas is not a doctor of virology or epidemiology. There we go. And his article has been criticised by scientists and members of the medical community for relying. So I think, in short, Dr. Disrespect is saying that America should open up and forget the pandemic. That's the way I'm taking that. But I mean, if Dr. Disrespect's not a doctor, and Dr. Dre's not a doctor, and now Dr. Atlas isn't a doctor of epidemiology, I mean, do doctors even exist? I mean, is it all a sham? How do we know that any doctors are actually doctors? I'm Dr. Graham Day, by the way. Welcome to the stream. How are you doing? This is Dr. Michael Maher, aka Dr. Bib. AKA...
That's me.
AKA Bib. Doggy Bib. Fuck knows.
What? I'm not dogging anyone.
Yeah, you are. I thought they said brine at first, thinking, what the fuck? Why is this person named after extremely salty water? That's what I said to Vern in my conversation. Salty sausage water, that's what it is. You get tuna and hot dogs in brine, so it's salty sausage water, which sounds like something else.
Well, it's just a way of social media nowadays, isn't it? Unfortunately, you can go trial by social media at this point. So it's just the case of get all the information before you start to fucking pick a side. There's no way that anyone in the world should be able to pick sides, because there's a reason we have a justice system in the world, and it's to be able to try and get as much evidence and as many both accounts of all stories. And at the moment, we're only hearing Twitch's side. The doc's come out and said one thing that he still doesn't know. So at this moment in time, the ball is in Twitch's court, and whoever the accusers are, whether or not it's a person or a company, we have no idea yet. So we'll see. No one knows what it is. No one knows for sure. Even the people who claim to be in the know, either they're shitting themselves over, I don't know, a potential lawsuit coming from their side, because they may be so far away from the point that they're just doing it to try and get people to respond and have analytics. I do not know.
Off topic for a second. Hessian Gaming, thank you very much for the follow. 24 minutes ago. I was in the middle of reading the article at that point in time, so I thought I'd jump on it afterwards and completely forgot. Thank you very much for the follow. Welcome in. Yeah, it's... Yeah. Anyway, I'll jump back into the...
There's no smoke without fire, though, Graham.
Oh, yes, 100%. Not. Dr. Atlas, heard he's the best in the world. How do we... talking about cancel culture, how do we cancel Asim off Twitch? We've had his Dr. Disrespect being not a medical professional. Now we're saying Dr. Atlas is the best in the world. Asim, stop it. I'm joking, I appreciate it. Wait.
Yeah, about to say you two are both cut from the same cloth.
The thing is, though, I mean, I'm all aboard for that. The worst, there is one kind of person that should be cancelled from everything, and that is the person that likes a pun or often throws out bad jokes or whatever. But then when someone else says a pun, they go, oh, like they're above it. Those people should be cancelled from everything. Everything. If you put down someone else's punnery and you're a shit take joker, then get out of here! Get out of here!
Pardon the pun.
Yes. Anyway, so the bit that we'll focus on then is this. Brime. Watch Brime. Brime is a new streaming service. We believe gaming is fun. See you soon. Look at this, 68.5 thousand followers, and it is flying. It's skyrocketing. And hopefully everyone's following it just like I am, because I want to follow it to see it actually turn out to be a crock of shit, because it looks like a crock of shit. Look at this. Brime is a new streaming service. I mean, it sounds like the water that your hot dogs or your tuna comes in to start. But we don't have a site yet, in capitals. Great.
Yeah,
That gives...
Why would you announce all this shit?
So
fucking weird.
This is a new streaming platform that doesn't have a platform. Okay, nice. Next up, their pinned tweet. This is something that's only joined this month, so it's only joined Twitter this month. Their pinned tweet is Forrest Gump. Okay, nice. That says a lot about the brand there. Edit RTMP. Oh, it's just deleted his tweet. There we go. It was just there, and it's gone. but he posted something and he's just deleted it because he had a typo. So this is how good the brand is. They've just had to delete tweets for typos. Where I was looking through it earlier on, there was all sorts of stuff going skewy for it. There was typos in there. There was spurious capital letters. Some things just had exclamation marks every 5 seconds, which means they don't have copywriters. There's no branding, no imagery, no nothing on the site. So, long story short, this is what people are throwing around as potentially being that streaming platform that the Doc, Shroud, and Ninja are going to. If that is the case, then they haven't got a social media team. So this, in my opinion, from what I can base my evidence off as being someone that's worked in social media for many, many years, that is a crock of shit. It's not an account. I'm following it just so that I can see it all unravel. There's supposed to be some big announcement stuff today at that point, and then maybe it's real, but it doesn't look it. If it is real, then they've done the worst job of social media that I've ever seen. It looks like it was made by a 10-year-old, says Crazy Ivan. 100%. 100%. I mean, like, a social media channel. Look at all the assets, the imagery that they've got on there. Oh, look, we have something, which is someone else's content. Actually, this person does not work here. We just want to clarify. So, more. So, we actually have some imagery, just GIFs. So they don't have anything. It's just tedious. It's tedious. It's not good. Did have a good conversation with Vern though this morning, saying they've amassed quite a large amount of following, so that's an achievement in itself. I mean, don't get me wrong, it is. They've just when we went on air, they had 64,000 followers. When I loaded it up a second ago, they had 68,000 followers. They now have 69.3 thousand followers, so they are flying up the numbers. But once a brand, quote air quotes, gets to that sort of size, people see that it's got 69,000 followers. So that gives it an element of legitimacy. So that it starts to get followers because it has followers with everything that's ongoing. So, yeah, to come back to the comment about Vern said the fact that they've done so well is quite good social media, but it's bad social media. It's good in the real world. Having 70,000 followers in just a few days or whatever it is good. Snowball effect, as Ivan says, yeah, 100%. Having 70,000 followers in very little time and very little investment of content is huge. But that's huge when you come at it from the concept of people playing social media game, the social media game properly. If you are a brand, you can't lie. You can't promise things that you don't have. You can't promise the world and give nothing. If you do, your brand falls down. You will never sell anything and you will get ripped apart. Whereas this appears to not be playing by the rules. It's black hat social media. It's promising this new platform that has easy routes to partnership, that has transparency, that has everyone will be banned for animal cruelty and things like that. So basically, it's saying everything that streamers want to hear. They'll ban Alinity if she threw a cat. They will make it easy to be partners so that you can see and everyone can do it. And all these criticisms have been thrown at every other platform. So they've taken all the nice stuff that everyone wants from another platform, rolled it into a cool little ball, and then thrown it out alongside, Dr. Disrespect is apparently looking at a new platform. And then there's all of the Twitch blackout stuff and everything that's ongoing. So it's a good feat to hit 70,000 followers, but they've done it outside of the rules, which instantly weakens it completely to me. So if it's not legitimate, I've got no time for this. It's horrendous for me. If it is legitimate, then get yourself a fucking social media team. Brand, when it starts, it goes big right off. Otherwise, you die. I mean, some brands can start slow and build up over time. But yeah, they've gone for the big impact. But building a streaming platform isn't easy. Amazon has a lot of money, and Twitch isn't perfect. Microsoft has a lot of money, and Mixer wasn't perfect. YouTube has a lot of money. Google has a lot of money, and YouTube isn't perfect. So at Watch Prime, that posts Tom Hanks, Forrest Gump gifs, I can't imagine they're gonna, nail a streaming platform from the off. But that's my take out. Do you know what? You can let me know if that's the case in a couple of weeks. But when you do a brand, you would have a fucking logo and a site at least, not a child that goes on Twitter. Well, there you go. Apparently, the name is just a code name, Brime. Apparently, there was a tweet that said something. It's a mixture of two names put together, two project or code names for a streaming platform. that they've merged together. So the reason they don't have stuff is because that's like holding branding and so on, which just sounds like convenient shit to me. Oh yeah, the reason we don't have any good logo or artwork is because we're saving it, not because we don't have it. Okay, if you do, then fine. But at this point in time, everything just looks like horrendousness to me. But anyway, what do I know? It's not like I work in social media or anything. Should we move ahead, Bib?
Why not? Keep the show on the road.
I think that's true. I think let's do that. Let's just do that. I mean, if they become a streaming service, then they would live like Mixer. Sure, 100%. I mean, that's another thing. Before we do move ahead, Shroud, Doctor Disrespect, and Ninja starting their own streaming platform. I mean, everyone's going, oh, imagine if Shroud, Doctor Disrespect, and Ninja started their own streaming platform. It's like, okay, but Shroud and Ninja have already done that, and it didn't work. So just throwing Doctor Disrespect in there, we've already proven that Mixer's gone under because they spent all their money on talent and not on substance. So their platform stopped. Mixer was amazing at inventing new streaming technologies and concepts and ideas, but that innovation stopped when they put all their money into like figurehead marketing. So launching a platform purely based on figureheads just kind of, doesn't sit well with me. But anyway, let's leave that there. Let's move forward, completely changing things up, as Hideo Kojima could be hinting at Death Stranding 2. This is written by Cian, Maher for VG247, and the article says Metal Gear Solid creator Hideo Kojima appears to be teasing Death Stranding 2, or possibly an entirely new game set in the same universe. The hint comes from Twitter, where Kojima shared a photo captioned with his work from home process, and you can check it out below. Here's my way of designing a new title with Yoji. First, we discuss the setting for each character, the background, the world, the colour, the characteristics, the roles, the images, ideas, and keyword going back and forth via email. Work from home and 20 minutes direct discussion, mostly texting via iPhone. The Tipex and Prit Sticks aren't particularly indicative of Death Stranding 2, but the giant BB in the middle of the photo sure seems to hint at the possibility. Kojima also posted another tweet which includes yet another hint about the possibility of a new Death Stranding game. Check it out below. Let me see. Did they actually include it? Okay. Working on the concept with listening to Oasis by Kitaro, I recently bought. I used to love the vinyl. Love the illustration by Shusei Nagaoka. Or Nagaoka. I don't know how to pronounce that. Apologies. Hopefully I've nailed it. If not, apologies. The caption for this one is less important than the photo itself. If you rotate the picture 90 degrees counterclockwise and zoom in, as pointed out over in Reset Era, you'll notice that the spaceship vehicle thing is branded with a pretty familiar name. Bridges. Here's a better angle if you're curious. Oh yeah, there you go. Bridges. I didn't even notice that. Wow. Some people zoom in. There's also an engraving on the side of the vehicle that appears to say landing ship, meaning that is there going to be a Death Stranding game in space? Tinfoil hats aside, it's also possible that this is just concept art that Kojima and Shinkawa have been messing about with, while another game set in the same universe could be pretty interesting. Death Stranding 2 hasn't been confirmed by a spaceship drawn in pencil, although admittedly it would be pretty weird to photograph giant BB dolls for no current reason. There's also the possibility that this could be DLC. Kojima did tease a weird, mysterious trailer back in February after all. Plus, he already said he's interested in making the scariest horror game. In related news, do you know what? We'll leave the related news there. Death Stranding 2 bit. Isn't
Go on.
I was just going to read that some comment. Isn't there some kind of spaceship artwork? Space horror, please. P.S. Kojima posted a pic of him and CD Projekt Cyberpunk Pride. He loves his merch. So go on. Over to you, bit.
I don't think a Death Stranding 2 would be the right move for Hideo. Not that he would be asked about that. He's not going to be asked about what Bibby thinks on Ice Cream Uploads. I think the game did as well as it did originally straight out the box is because it was his first project as his own studio. I don't think with a polarizing game as much as it was for him, I don't think a Death Stranding 2 would be the right way. I think he needs to go with his gut and go with a horror game because that's what he's interested. We've covered this story about him wanting to do a horror game for the last 6 or 7 months. I think using the inspiration that he's had with the likes of watching the most terrifying horror film ever, in his words, and listening to music scores from horror films. I think his imagination needs to go with that. I think this is a hoax. I think he's just. There's no way that he keeps a, a little a BB-8 baby thing on the desk. Do you know what I mean? That's there as a little trick. He's smart enough to take the piss. So I definitely think that that is the way that he's gone. There is no way on God's green earth he's just announcing Death Stranding 2 with a little picture like that. I think that's just there to take the piss.
Yeah,
That's my thoughts.
he's a very clever man. So, and this could work any one of a million ways. Having that in there could be a hint that, oh, yes, yes. Or it could just be Hideo Kojima. He likes to take pictures of whatever's nearby to spice things up. Oh, okay. I'm taking a picture of someone, like, what was it? The um the watch in Metal Gear Solid 5 for Phantom Pain. He has the original 70s version of that watch. I also have that watch. But when I remember him posting a picture of that watch, but rather than it just being a picture of the watch, he put a picture of his sunglasses in, his glasses in with it as well to kind of like signify glasses, Hideo Kojima's glasses next to a watch. And it's like the glasses didn't mean anything. They were just there because they added a bit of something, a bit of him to the image. He was talking about the watch, and actually the watch became something later on in terms of the watch. Him taking a picture of that watch was saying it's a James Bond watch. It's featured from all the stuff from the 80s, and then it eventually appeared in the game. So he was teasing something going further on. So that taking that apart is the baby could be a hint that something else coming down the line, or it could just be something that signifies Hideo Kojima's history alongside something that's coming down the line. The glasses were kind of irrelevant in that sort of sense. In that the baby could be the glasses in this, so it could just be something cool to add a little bit of personality to make you feel 100% that's Hideo Kojima. He could also just be sat there proper going, this is weird as fuck. Let's throw this in here. People are gonna go crazy trying to figure out what it is, and it means nothing because he's done that before too. He did that with the studio behind PT. The I remember like the image was a tree stump in a wooded area. We've spoken about this before as well, which was
Yeah.
from the back garden of one of the members of staff, and literally that's all it was. It wasn't anything else. And then the name of the studio had some sort of significance as well. It was like a number, and wasn't that like people? I can't remember. People were like trying to figure out as to what that meant, but there was some equally like stupid reason for putting that in to make people overthink it when there was nothing there. So yeah. Yeah, I mean, as Crazy Ivan says, Kojima will do some wacky shit next. It'll be hit or miss. Connie says, I really hoped he'd do a horror game next. Wasn't keen on Death Stranding. Arms says, cat sequel, only so much DPS delivery service simulation a man can take. I mean, imagine playing through Death Stranding early on this year as an Amazon delivery driver or a DPS delivery driver or a Deliveroo guy, and then lockdown hits and all you do is deliver everything ever.
You do it for reals.
So yeah, fuck this shit out. Anyway, just some stuff to think about there. We won't go too much deep into these articles, unless you've got anything additional you want to add on to this bit. Just I was going to fly through the rest. of
No. I've got nothing on it. I think he's smart enough to want to make his own hype, and including something that, again, I use the word polarizing because I know a lot of people either loved it or hated it. Again, very Marmite. I don't, me personally, from what I want from Hideo Kojima, I want his fucked up mind on something that I can get stuck into, like a horror game, because I think he would do that perfectly. We've seen it with PT, again, one of the most terrifying games I've ever played. I want something like that, but on a bigger scale, and I think it'll be close to being one of the biggest and best projects that he would ever deliver, and that's a huge statement in itself. But I think his mind is that fucked that he could make something beautiful and amazing and potentially controversial that would make gamers think twice. It's not just a horror game. It's not just going in and seeing zombies or seeing ghosts or whatever it will be that the game would be around. Is fucking crazy beautiful, is imagination and the way it works. So I think going into a horror game, for me and my own personal taste, I think that would be his next move. But that's just me being a little bit biased on that.
I petition that we get Bibby to do Hideo Kojima's obituary or some sort of thing. Like the next time he wins an award, you can just imagine it in like a BAFTA ceremony. The screen goes dark, the audience are sat there in a darkened like theater, and like the golden effects that you usually get like on the screen and BAFTAs, and it's like one man, bum, 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 bum. However many
Fucked up
games,
mind.
bum, 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 bum. Fucked up mind, but it's beautiful.
There's no way that you can. You can't describe Hideo Kojima in a few words. There's just there's so much going on with him, his personality, and the way that his mind works that you can't pigeonhole him. It's weird. Like there's very few people that you can do that with in video games. I mean, in any medium, because he likes to make cinematic experiences and trying to bring that into a video game world and try and make it flow and make sense. A lot of his stuff doesn't, but it's kind of always banged in one way or another. So it's difficult to try and pigeonhole him. But I
Ivan's
think
got a good description of him there. I see Kojima as more of an artist than a game creator because most of the times I think he doesn't give shit about the people that buy the game. He just does stuff because he wants to do it.
exactly,
Yeah, I mean, obviously he does. He does care about the people that buy the game, but from the angle that he's creating the content that he wants to create, and he does consider the people at the end of the process because he knows that he wants his content to deliver, to punch, to hit, to have meaning, and it might not be what anybody wants usually, but he designs it in a way with the audience considered in terms of how it will hit them. How best to hit them. He doesn't necessarily make the content that they want to have hit them. So yeah, I get what you're saying in that way. He doesn't necessarily focus on delivering what the audience wants. He delivers what
yeah,
he wants, but focuses on how that will hit the audience, which
yeah.
is art. I mean, the art is creating the message and sharing it. Art isn't service. Service is giving people what they want, and it's a completely different thing. So yeah.
Well, I mean that in a very low budget way is kind of like what we do. Like me and you make each other laugh, and we think if we find ourselves absolutely hilarious, surely somebody else out there will too. So we do stuff that makes us happy and makes us laugh, and then hopefully everyone else will. He's basically just going down the exact same route. If the stuff makes him happy and he thinks it's amazing, then he will make it, and then hope that other people will like it too. And that's the way it always should be. If you're streaming or you're an artist or you're making content, make it for you that you find funny, enjoyable, and then hopefully other people will do too. Don't You can't cater to a certain person or a certain type of people because you will alienate others. Just make stuff that you think's cool, and then hopefully everybody else will like it too.
So if you didn't get that, ice cream uploads is basically the same as Hideo Kojima. I think
Yeah,
we'll just take that as
I danced around that pole a little bit, but yeah, that's exactly what I was going for.
you goddamn right, you fucking did. uh, let's move away from a creator that we share so much in common with, Mr. Hideo Kojima, into something else. This is the next bit of news for the day. A Twitter account, Twitter, sound like was almost Geordie then,
Mhm.
or full on Southern, but a Twitter account could imply, my God, that Fable 4 is actually in the works. Once again, written by Cian, Maher for VG247. This article says it was already rumored that Fable and Perfect Dark could be coming to the Xbox Series X, but Twitter accounts for both games have added more fuel to that fire, meaning that Fable 4 could be closer than we thought. The accounts for both games were originally shared on Twitter. You can check out the tweet below. So this is from Tom Warren. Is he from The Verge? I think he's from The Verge. I'm not sure who discovered the Fable and Perfect Dark game placeholders, but Microsoft Xbox employee is following one, and the other is registered to a Microsoft email address. Excuse me. As the tweet notes, one of the accounts is followed by a Microsoft employee, while the other is registered to a Microsoft email address. Both of these facts would usually imply a degree of legitimacy that makes the account's existence pretty much indicative of a full-fledged Fable 4. However, Warren clarified in a follow-up tweet that Microsoft has confirmed the accounts are genuine, but says they've been inactive for years and it's standard IP protection, but one was registered in March 2020 and the other in June 2020. The confirmation came from Aaron Greenberg, GM of Xbox Games Marketing at Microsoft, who wrote, "I know everyone is hungry for news, but sorry to get your hopes up. These accounts have been inactive for years. It's standard practice to secure social handles for our IP. As Warren notes, though, both accounts were created in 2020 and clearly haven't been inactive for years." That was the thing that I asked Jordan to do yesterday. Jordan mentioned this on stream, and he's like, "There's been these accounts, and someone's come out as saying that they're just placeholder things," and I was saying, "Yeah, but how old are they?" So we went and had a look, and it was like, "Yeah, March and June." And I was like, "Okay, well, that doesn't kind of say that to me." I mean, that said, it could just be securing the names from a different angle. Say, there's been a lot of talk of Fable and Perfect Dark. it could just be a case of, because of the amount of talk, Microsoft might be expecting someone to go out and get those names, so they've just gone and got them anyway. In the same way that you'll often see, what was it? Not Turok, Dino Crisis, the domains were renewed and stuff for that. It could just be a different version of renewing domain names, but yeah, it's
I
pretty
think they
interesting.
bought these. I think somebody else has had these and never had to buy them back because with a name like Fable, as generic as it is, someone would have had that. I don't think they would have made that. So they would have had to buy it, I think. Perfect Dark Game, that's not generic, but it's an IP. So I reckon somebody else, they've had to buy these from someone, which is why the accounts are quite new. So they would have messaged whoever had them, bought them, and then had to create a new account around that time to take the name as soon as possible. So that's my opinion on it anyway.
I mean, Twitter has been changing their stance on freeing up names. They were basically going to have a big amnesty to allow everyone to take whatever game. So if you're an account that has a name that hasn't been used for ages, it was just going to get taken and freed up to everyone. However, that got paused because Twitter hadn't thought about what's the word, like in memoriam sort of practices. Say if Michael Jackson, I know his account still tweets, but say if Michael Jackson has a Twitter account, and then Michael Jackson dies, as he did, and his Twitter account suddenly stops posting anything. If he doesn't post anything for 12 months or whatever the timeline is, does that mean that someone can go, give me that domain name now, and they can take Michael Jackson away from him? Because Twitter hadn't fully thought through how they looked at the what's the word for it? Like, I'll just say in memoriam. It's not the word. It's not the right wording, but we'll just stick with that. So they haven't thought about the in memoriam process in terms of how do they treat channels of people that have died, and they want to keep them there as some sort of memory to them. But Twitter are changing their stuff to make people be able to pick up domain names that are just being domain farmed, or even just sat on by people that had an idea a million years ago and haven't done anything since, which could be a reason for why Fable has been released. Because at Fable, some person that picked it up 20 years ago hasn't tweeted since, could have just been sat there, and Microsoft have gone, okay, give it us now. There's all this talk about Fable, let's get hold of it now. And Microsoft will have account managers with everything they do on social media anyway, so it could just be a case of they've just secured them now as a form of domain protection. But yeah, you never know. You never know. Even if they have paid for it, it could be the same sort of thing there in terms of, okay, pay for it, get them all boxed off, debranded, and sat holding for when, if we ever do need them.
Yeah.
Fable 4 is coming for what, 15 years now? Something like that. My biggest problem with IP, it thinks too much of a budget that's required to make a game. Asif says, yeah, lads, getting Fable 10 years ago paid off, finally.
Well, that's what they do, though, isn't it? There's many accounts that will take names and then make money that way. Like, for instance, a little one close to home, Buzzkill. There was Buzzkill ES for a long time because somebody else had Buzzkill and they've had to pay to get that taken away. So now they are rebranded as their entire name as they want to be, Buzzkill. So if people have them, and you're a massive company that wants to be known as your brand name, then you will have to pay. Unless you can come to an agreement elsewhere and they don't use it and they don't realize that they can get money for it. Unfortunately, you will have to pay for it. That's just the way it is. But taking it 10 years ago for someone like Fable, who would probably want to be known as just Fable on social media, that guy, that those people are probably rolling around in a massive bucket full of cash right at this moment in time.
Well, I have a couple of stories on that. Well, first one is we are Ice Cream Uploads. There is a Twitter account called Ice Cream, which is just an account that hasn't tweeted for like 2 years or something. And it posted pictures of ice cream or something like that. And it's clearly, I thought someone was just sitting on it, holding it, waiting for a Ben and Jerry's or someone to come in. But yeah, we could have taken that if this is the case. But yeah, I mean, we stick with Ice Cream Uploads now because it's unique and it's ours and it's everywhere. But I have been through that situation for a brand. I won't name names, but this particular brand had a video game brand had the need for a sub brand, and we wanted to create a sub brand's Twitter account. That sub brand, the name that we wanted, without any like extras. So like you'll often get like the brand or official brand or brand tweets or whatever, or watch brand or play brand or whatever. We just wanted it to just be the brand name without anything afterwards. But that had been taken by a person of this game's community. So they had the Twitter account, they were using it for their own stuff. years ago, but I hadn't used it for about 3 years. Anyway, I managed to find out who owned this account by going like through internet and trying to find things that it tweeted about and seeing who owned it and who his .net domain stuff and whatever. Reached out to this person, said, "You're using this account. Well, you have this account that you're not using this account. We would like to take over this account to use it for something official by the brand. Can we take this off you?" And then the response was, "No, I've got it. I'm using it. Well, I'm not using it, but I plan to use it eventually going forward." And then the conversation was, "Okay, how about we compensate you for this domain name?" And it was like, no, it's fine. No amount of money would do this. And it was just like, so there was nothing we could do. Anyway, it turns out that when we went to Twitter, this account hadn't been used for years. So yoink! So we took it, and it's gone. And there we go. Job's gone. But that's the thing, though. People will just sit on domain names, not always just to cash in as well. People will just sit on them because it matches where I want to take something going forward. Anyway, we had to go all the way through all the hoops, and we offered to take it back, but eventually that's the story. Long story. Let's finish it there. Let's move on. Yeah, fine. Nice. Let's move. So Twitter accounts for Fable and Project Dark exist. They are either there because they're going to do something with the game, or they're there because they're going to protect them. It could be read either way, and we're not really getting clear messaging either. Do you know? I think we might. Do you know? It might be worth stopping there. You know, we do have more content, but because of the length of time that we spent chatting around Dr. Disrespect and Brine with a N, not on the. So yeah, I think we'll pause it there. We'll move the next 2 articles to tomorrow's content because I know there's a lot of people sat waiting for Masters of the League, and that usually starts around 12, and it's 1 minute past. So let's wrap things up here. So they go around that problem is that they just do following by naming it Fable the New Destiny or whatever. Fable the New Destiny. As in the New Destiny or just something separate. Anyway, let's wrap things up. Thank you everyone for joining us for the stream today. We are going to wrap up the scoop today so we can go off, get set for Masters of the League. If you play PES 2020 or any PES, you don't even need to play PES 2020 itself. Myself and Babe are co-managers of Ice Cream Uploads FC in PES 2020. If you want to get involved, watch us continue into the Premiership, then that stream will start almost instantly. Not quite instantly. We'll probably need 10 minutes or so to get things set up afterwards. But we're going to end this stream and jump back on with our Master League playthrough. It's really good if you haven't seen it as well. We're in the Premiership. We've got all of the PC mods and everything, so it looks superb. Make sure you stick around for that if you've got nothing better to do. If you're having your dinner, then just eat your Cheetos butty while you watch us continue in the Premiership. Jobs are good and like that. Yes. But before we do disappear, Mr. Bib.
Cheetos.
Oh, have you not had a Cheetos butty? You've not lived, me.
Yeah.
What's this? Whatever. Chill out.
It's so random.
It's because we've got shitloads of cheesy puffs and stuff downstairs, and yeah. Although actually, I did show these on stream when I was on yesterday. These things, if you have a co-op near you, these things are possibly the best crisps that I've tasted in years. Co-op, dirty fries, crunchy potato snacks with a spiced cheese seasoning, and they look just like chips. I showed it on the stream yesterday. I'll grab one out of the bag. Look at that. That looks like a chip, an actual chip, as opposed to a crisp. My God, they are fit. Get yourself a Anyway, before we disappear a bit, and before I start talking about more crisps, is there anything you would like to add to the stream? Yes? No! Where's he gone?
Of course.
Oh, he's
As
back.
always, if you do have it. What?
Oh, there's a mega delay.
I'm here. Oh.
Like, your mouth doesn't move.
Shall I continue?
Oh, one second.
I'm looking. I can see myself moving in Discord.
This is bizarre. Okay, 1 second then. Let me just.
What have you done to me?
Okay. Bibby.
Hello.
There we go.
What have you done to me? I've done nothing.
There was like a 10-second delay, which I did think that like a couple of times when I was speaking, where I'd be like, "What do you think, Bib?" Like, and then you kind of didn't say anything, so I started reading something from the chat, and then you realised I was like, "Oh, okay." But yeah, there was like a 10-second delay, and you'd say something, and it was like not RoboCop, Police Academy, where the guy goes like, "Want to fight? Fight me."
No, I've not done anything. I've not moved. Whatever. Yeah. But anyway, as you all like to know, if you do have any video game news that you want us to cover, or it's completely thrown my train of thought. This, Graham, you've ruined my life. But yeah, I'll start again from the beginning. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching this afternoon. But don't fear, if you do want to continue with the scoop, then do feel free to come back tomorrow morning. If you have also any news or anything that you've seen on any sort of, fuck this up. This is the worst. If you do come across any news on any of the social platform choices of your choice, do you know what? If you got any news for the scoop, find us on Ice Cream Uploads, at Ice Cream Uploads across all different major social media platforms, at We've Got Rubinho, at Graham_Day. Graham, what time will we be streaming tomorrow?
10 a.m. ish.
Jesus Christ. Fuck that up big time.
Well, I think we got there eventually, but thank you very much, everyone, for being here. All the social links and the Discord link are in the chat, and that's it. We are going to drop off for Masters of the League now, and we'll be back tomorrow at 10 a.m. ish. Is that right, babe? Yeah, I think that's right. Okay, nice.
I think that's right, yeah.
Have a good day, ladies and gentlemen.
What do you need to do?